What is up, everyone? You are watching Power Up with Pride 2021 here on Twitch. We are running all this weekend. If you missed any runs in the marathon so far, you can find them uploaded after the marathon on our YouTube channel. You can also stay up to date on this event and any future events by following us on Twitter or joining our Discord. Links to all of these can be found in the panels below the stream or by using !social in chat. And just a little reminder that we are here raising funds for the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is the leading national organization providing crisis intervention and suicide prevention services to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning youth. You can check them out at www.thetrevorproject.org to access their services, find out more about their impact, or donate. And with that, our next run is ready to go. It is Legend of Heroes Trials from Zero with snowymoogle. Take it away.
Hi, I'm snowymoogle. I am your runner tonight for the Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero, otherwise known as Zero no Kiseki. I also have my virtual couch with me. If you'd like to introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm DM, but I'm mostly known as Shinoa, and I'll be helping out with the commentary here.
Okay, and with that, we should be ready to go. Should I just give a quick countdown?
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll get going in 3, 2, 1, go. So, the first thing you're going to notice in this game is just how fast it is running, and just because this game has a built-in turbo button that, when held down, makes the game run at 6 times the regular speed. So I'm going to be holding that down for like 90% of the run, and we'll see what that does for the run in a little bit. But with that out of the way, this is the Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero, or Zero no Kiseki. It is the 4th game in the Legend of Heroes Trails series, which you might also know from the Trails in the Sky games or Trails of Cold Steel games. And Zero here is one of 2 games that take place in between those 2 arcs. And it follows Lloyd Bannings here as he's joining the Special Support section, which is kind of like a new division of the police force, to just kind of take odd jobs and help out people. We get introduced to Ellie, Tio, and Randy here. They're going to make up our party for the entirety of the run. And we're getting assigned to our first mission here, which is to save a couple children that for some reason went to go play in the sewers. But before we do that, we're actually going to go to the airport. And the reason we do this will only come into play at the literal very end of the run. But we have to watch that quick cutscene, or else we actually will not be able to beat the game. But with that out of the way, we will enter the Geofront, which is kind of the general underground of Crossbell City here. And we will see trying to avoid enemies in 6 times the regular speed. So normally, where enemies spawn, they will all patrol a certain radius. But I'll kind of see where they spawn, which is random, and kind of use that to gauge how I want to go through the room, because of course it's really hard to avoid them at 6 times speed. So I'll generally see where they are. This enemy right here, I'm gonna try to fight, because we have to go around him twice. And it's usually faster instead of just accidentally getting ambushed. If you do get into an encounter in this game, normally we're just going to try to escape, and the chance to escape from a fight is dependent on how you kind of entered that fight. If an enemy tries to ambush you from behind, your escape chance actually starts at 0%, and then goes up by 10% for every subsequent escape attempt. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. Usually it's not too costly. This room can be really annoying depending on where those enemies spawn, and we're going to go into our first kind of major fight of the run. Shin, if you would like to explain what we're going to do here.
Yeah, so basically we're gonna try to bait all the slimes to one tank that's gonna be tanking the front, and get Tio to hit them possibly in 2 turns to get her to 100 CP. Usually takes sometimes 3 turns, and we also got lucky that none of the slimes went for the child in the front. If the child does one of them get beaten down, the fight just ends. It's game over. So we gotta retry. But yeah, so far Snowy got really good luck here and got the Tio Sasscraft in just 2 turns. Charge up.
Yeah, and the reason that works is this game has a mechanic called CP, So for every time you attack an enemy, or for every time in that battle Tio attacks an enemy, she's gonna get 10 CP. And when she gets to 100 CP, she gets access to what's called an S-Craft. And an S-Craft is just like a super powerful attack. You saw me like kind of obliterate literally every enemy with it. And you need 100 CP to use your S-Craft. And S-Crafts, you can actually use them literally whenever you want. So that's why we could like attack with Tio and then use her S-Craft immediately after. And the reason we want to group up all those slimes is because when Tio can attack, she gets 10 CP for every slime she attacks, so she can, hopefully, if we get good RNG, like I did there, she gets 50 CP per turn, and she can get her S-Craft within 2 turns. And right here, we just kind of have to go around, talk to all the members of the SSS, talk to them a little bit about why they have joined, and what their motivations are. And after a quick dramatic flashback, we're get introduced to the support terminal, which is how like people kind of send in their requests for us as the SSS to fulfill. And there's a lot of unfulfilled requests that will happen throughout the run. But our first request here is to just kind of go around town and talk to a few particular NPCs that will be helpful throughout the run. First one there is just the weapons merchant. Don't need anything right now, but we will be back later. Here we're going to enter the ordnance store. We'll explain ordnance in a little bit, but this place will also be important a little bit later. And we're also going to go to the Chinese restaurant. This is not a part of the quest, but when we rest here, we actually restore 100 CP for every character. And that'll be very important in the next mandatory fight we do. Lastly, we're just going to head over to the police station, and we're just going to ask a little bit about how support requests work, even though we're going to be skipping most of them throughout the run. And with that then, we're just going to head back and submit that request, let them know we have finished it. And after we do that, we're going to get 3 new requests. Unfortunately for 2 of those people, we will not be fulfilling their requests, but there's 1 new request to go slay a giant bat back in the geofront. So we're going to be moving back through here. Oh, okay, can I get around that guy? I'm going to try to run, and again, as they're like, escape chance starts at 0 and then goes up by 10% for every subsequent escape chance. So it can be pretty rough if you get, like, if an enemy tries to approach you from behind. If we run into an enemy ourselves, the escape chance actually starts at 50. Oh, I'm not getting around that. I'm actually just going to kill this enemy instead of trying to get around.
Grenades.
That is true. Yeah, there are items that allow us to just, or increase our chance to just 100%.
Yeah, except it takes 2 turns to escape, but it's still safer sometimes.
And now, yeah, Shin, if you would like to explain the big bat fight.
Yeah, so since we all have CP now to S-Craft, we just wait for the enemies to line up and use 2 S-Crafts to take out the ads. And for the remaining of the fight, we'll just use arts. So arts do normally take 2 turns, the initial turn and the second turn to let them off. And they're normally the strongest ones in the game compared to the physical attacks currently we have. And yeah, just like that, we take him out.
Yeah, that was really good. There's I got 2 crits for S-Crafts there, so probably helped speed it up a little bit. And
yeah, you want to explain turn bonuses, or should I?
Yeah, you explain turn bonuses.
Yeah, so turn bonuses are like random, like the bonuses happen in the battle. You can get, like, for example, HP heal, AP heal, CP heal. There are critical. There's like double turns. It can be nice if you get them on your turn, but it can sometimes be bad if the enemies get it. Like the HP heal on enemies are one of the worst things to get. So that can like really ruin your fight, or just basically the strategy you're aiming to go for. And right now Snowy is just stocking up on some juice that he'll use in the next fight.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of shopping right now before we start getting over some barriers.
Yeah, we'll get over some really interesting barrier in a moment.
So we just, Turbo's a little funky sometimes. Not mean to go in there. Oh.
At least don't get stuck in the box.
So here we're going to kind of do what's called get over the barrier, where it turns out doors are kind of the last thing to load in this game. So if we save right in front of a door and load back in, kind of like going into that door, we will just go straight through it. And with that, we have found ourselves in the New Game Plus dungeon, which we are definitely not intended to be here at this point. And the reason we do this is because we're going to fight a few enemies. Again, these are New Game Plus enemies. Oh, very nice. And we are going to be max level in hopefully the next, like, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, so we need to do 2 fights, and the first fight we really need just 1 enemy, cannot take out a fight with 2 enemies. And the whole idea is basically use Lloyd's Ascraft to steal the enemy for 5 turns, and use Randy's Ascraft twice to finish it off with the burn. Now, the burn ticks are dependent on HP, but it can also be random, so you need 5 ticks to finish it off, and if you don't finish them off in 5 ticks, usually one party member will die, and you'll have to fight again. For the second fight, we are looking for 2 enemies. Not sure why you did that team attack there.
There's an accidental misclick.
Yeah, so we actually need the 2 enemies here with exactly this formation. So the first thing we're gonna do is slow them down, and we're gonna use a mechanic in this game called delay. So not all enemies can be delayed, but the ones that can be, basically you just delay them for so much that they cannot get a turn. Especially with the speed down, when you apply speed down right away, the effect doesn't like activate right away, but if you can interact with their turn order, like the delay right now, it actually delays them even more. And speed is one of the most important stats in the game. So with this, we basically have like unlimited turns. Now, we could finish the fight right away, but we cannot do that because we're gonna be building XP multipliers, and one of the there's XP multipliers for like using 3 items in a row, getting 7 turns in a row as well, and these are like the main ones we're gonna be focusing on. So we need like around 63 turns before we can move on. So this will take a while, and it's probably a good time for donations if you have any.
That is awesome. I do have a donation here from Summerby for $34.99, and they said, keep up the great work for a great cause. And not only did they donate, but they made sure to donate towards that incentive that we are trying to unlock, the Trans Samus incentive for Super Metroid. If we meet that one, Garby, Colors, Stars, and Freya's will play with a trans-colored Samus, the rainbow-colored beam. So we're looking for $2,500 to unlock that, and we're very, very close. We have $2,324.99. So we're looking for $175 and a penny to unlock that particular incentive. So please do remember to get those donations in for the Trevor Project, and when you do, click on that Trans Samus incentive.
All right, so far the good is the fight is going alright. There is just one thing that can go wrong, and that is when these enemies are low on HP, they have a small chance of escaping. So we really hope that won't happen, otherwise we'll have to retry.
I have a backup save just in case. It's unlikely to happen, but
yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, there are auto saves in this game, so we can hope those.
Oh, there we go.
Nice. And with that, we're max level.
Yeah, we're like not even 15 minutes into the run, and we're literally the max level you can be in this game.
Yeah,
like, as
so
you can
Falcom...
imagine. Sorry, go.
Alright, so Falcom did introduce XP multipliers to this game, except they forgot one thing, and that is capping the XP limit. Because that way, like, the XP limit in this game is like 9999, so almost 10,000. And if you do build up XP multipliers, it will go over the limit. So just like that, you can hit the max level.
Yeah, and also, like, every single bonus we get, like, really adds up. Like, like every bonus you get is like, next I want to say like 5%. But we literally do need every bonus we get there to get exactly to max level. I think if you miss one, it's like you end up like 5 levels under or something.
Probably. Like, you need like 3.0 XP multiplier, I think, there to get it.
And right now we're just kind of filling our duties as the SSS. We heard there's a little bit of trouble going downtown. Two rival gangs are kind of suspecting each other of things. Walt here is gonna fight Lloyd, not knowing Lloyd is level 50, and a lot of fights in this game. We just kind of just route in, trying to like minimize inrests and using quite a few S-crafts. You'll notice the screen will kind of just like quickly fade to black and fade back in. You can just like skip animations in this game at the press of a button. So every time I start an S-craft, I'll just immediately skip the animation. Normally they're like 15 seconds each or something. Yeah, right now we're just doing... Yeah, we're just doing we're just doing a little investigating about what is going on here. We have to talk to a few NPCs. I think it's also like a good example showing like turbo like in the run and like kind of how it like really affects movement. Like I personally I think it makes the movement a lot more involved. But of course if you don't want to do that, there's also like no turbo, and then there's also modified turbo for you just don't use it on the field but can use it in fights and cutscenes.
Yeah, Max Turbo, in my opinion, works in this game really well just because you can interrupt enemies on the field with the field attack, compared to like with the Sky games where there is no such thing. So zooming through like Max Turbo is not really a good idea.
Anyway, we kind of got a plan about how we're going to bust this case wide open. And for this next fight, we are just going to take Ellie along, because she has enough CP for an S-craft and can hit both enemies at once. So, quickly gonna enter the fight here. Getting the Sepith turn there is very nice. And there we go. And that is basically it for Prologue. If we have time for anything quick to be read, that was a pretty good time.
Okay, well, I would love to talk about the Trevor Project just a little bit. A majority of you choose to contact the Trevor Project rather than other providers because the organization is an LGBTQ affirming or trusted provider of crisis services. 90% of young people who reach out to the Trevor experience de-escalation from suicidal thoughts. One supportive person can decrease an LGBTQ's youth's risk of suicide by 30%. The Trevor Project aims to always be there for LGBTQ youth in crisis with a clear message. They should be proud of who they are and that they are not alone.
Okay, so now I've heard there's been some wolf sightings all across the Crossbell region. And the first thing, we're going to go to Armorica Village, where one of the attacks has taken place. And now we're going to see, once again, trying to avoid enemies on the field. So, something I didn't mention earlier with, while we were in the underground, that enemies will only actually chase after you if you are around, like, equal to lower level than them. But because we're max level, enemies are actually going to try to run away with us, which you might think makes this free, but when enemies try and run away from you, they actually... Oh my god. Okay, that one was my fault. But enemies will actually do a wide turn when they try and run away from you. So sometimes in trying to run away from you, enemies will... Oh my god. Enemies will actually run into you. So that can be funny sometimes. But we're kind of just gonna zoom right here. So you'll see me slow down at points, just kind of see where enemies are. Because as you can imagine, at 6 times speed, it is not the easiest to react to... Oh my god. From where enemies spawn. And right here, we are now in Armorica Village, and we're going to do a little bit of investigating for what has been going on with the wolf attacks. And kind of what the game wants us to do is like go and talk to a bunch of select NPCs. So we're going to do that. In the middle of that, we're also going to do a short little shopping trip where we're going to sell some Sepith. Oh, I don't think we discussed Sepith yet. Basically, the way Sepith works is enemies in this game actually don't drop any money. They only drop what is known as Sepith. You can see it all here. There's 7 different elemental types, and we can sell that for money. But we can also use it to craft what is known as quartz, and quartz is like kind of similar to materia from like Final Fantasy VII, where you get like certain stat bonuses and also gives you access to certain spells. And I think the limited amount of quartz and Sepith we get throughout the run really like affects what we can do. Right here, one of the people we have to talk to is the innkeeper, and we're gonna quickly sneak in a rest there because we are gonna want some CP for the upcoming fights, and that rest right there is actually gonna take us all the way through the rest of the chapter. And with that, we have talked to everyone here, and we are just gonna head back to Crossbell City. And Harold here, he's very nice, he's gonna give us a car ride. We don't have to walk all the way back like how we walked there. And we're also going to get introduced to fast travel within Crossbell City, which is very nice, going to save us quite a bit of time. We can fast travel right here, and we're on our next place to investigate for the wolf attacks, which is St. Ursula Hospital, where we're once again going to see more of like trying to avoid enemies, like within these fields. Luckily, that first room there isn't too bad. This first fight here, we're going to S-craft with Ellie, hope that kills them both. Okay, unfortunately it didn't, but luckily, Lloyd's able to clean up there if one of them ends up surviving. But unfortunately, more monkeys show up. Sorry, go.
Yeah. So like the damage rolls, I think in this game not really bad compared to like other games. So like sometimes you'll see us do enough damage, sometimes you see enemies survive with barely any health left. So like one of them, they're did die, well the other one did survive, but it's not really that big of an issue. Just a little small time loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with a lot of the mid-game fights where they do revolve so much around just like hopefully using S-crafts to one-shot them. That can happen occasionally. Yeah, usually only small time losses when it doesn't happen. Yeah, now that we're at the hospital, Lloyd's sister works here. Oh, and is gonna help us with the investigation here. We're gonna talk to one of the patients, hear a little bit about what happened, and then we're gonna try and find out how exactly did the wolves get on the roof of the hospital. And again, kind of like, may not seem the most interesting, but trying to do turbo movement in sections like this definitely makes this a lot more involved than it would be otherwise. And St. Ursula Hospital is also, so this game definitely was not made with turbo in mind. Turbo is in fact only added with the like English patch or the Geofront patch for this game, and there's definitely points where you can very easily soft lock by clipping into things. Luckily, it will never kill your run because this game very generously autosaves very often. But St. Ursula Hospital is kind of like one point that is very prone or has a lot of points where you can potentially soft lock in.
It's a minefield of soft
Yeah.
locks.
It's just so easy you can like rub up against a wall and yeah, you just clip into something. But again, this game like all the Trails games will autosave, so I can't imagine you can lose more than like 20 seconds to that happening. And
It depends on what game you're running.
Oh, I guess
like,
that's true.
Still you can say lose like a minute even with turbo.
At least here, I believe it's an autosave like every time you enter a new room, so it's never really like too bad.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that a friendly turbo in this game does speed up loading times for some reason.
Oh yeah.
No idea how that works, but I guess it's nice.
Yeah, and here, heading up the mountain path, we are once again going to see a lot of like trying to avoid enemies while in these like kind of wide corridors. There's definitely like weighted, like these kinds of sections are definitely weighted more towards Chapter 1, I find. We're just gonna head up here. We're gonna take a quick detour. Enemy. Not a big deal. We have good escape chances, and we're gonna take a quick detour to Rosenberg Studios. This character, we don't know who they are, and that is the last we're gonna see of them.
Well, not really.
Oh, never mind. I'm wrong about that. See them later. We're gonna make our way out of there. Luckily, that last loading zone right there, you can sometimes turbo right through it. Not like a horrible time loss, but sometimes happens. And the tunnel here.
You just get over the wrong barrier. That's
yeah, you get over the wrong barriers. The tunnel here is probably the worst section for trying to avoid enemies. You can see those kind of like pillars at the bottom can sometimes hide enemies and make it annoying to run around them. And again, the fact that enemies do wide turns sometimes means, like, even though they're trying to run away from you, they sometimes will just run into you in their attempt to do that. And now that we're in Main's Mining Village, our objective here is to talk to literally every single person in the town and ask them what has been going on. And again, a lot more, like, involved, like, turbo movement, running around, try to talk to them as fast as possible. We also didn't mention, in addition to holding down turbo during dialogue, we also hold down the, like, cancel button, which also will speed up text. So it allows text to go by very quickly. Though, one downside of that is, when you are given the dialogue options, if you're holding down both turbo and cancel, it sometimes will just, like, eat your inputs. So it can make selecting options, which there are points where you need to select the correct options, very annoying. And I'll mostly be using mouse for those. Right here, we have talked to the mayor, and we're kind of like, we've gotten all the info we need. We know exactly what is going on with all these wolf attacks. And we're gonna stay up to try and bust what's going on. We think the local mafia in Crossbell City is behind it. So we're gonna stay up till midnight and see if we can solve this case. With these wolves right here, I'm going to S-break right away with Tio. She's not getting both, so Lloyd's gonna finish that one off, and ooh, that is a bad damage roll. And then he's gonna S-craft the other one.
Oh yeah, that definitely was a bad damage roll.
Right here for the second fight here, Randy is gonna S-craft all of them, and very nice, he got all of them. Randy is a very strong boy. And with that, that is basically it for Chapter 1 now. There are 4 chapters in this game, but you will not see us do all of them.
I keep forgetting how, like, lengthy the prologue is, and it's only chapter 1 right now.
Yeah. Oh, and also, the big silver and blue wolf is now our police dog. Unfortunately, he does not get use in the run, but casually, he comes with a very useful attack. Right here, we're kind of getting introduced to Arkan CL, which is kind of like a Cirque du Soleil type group. That is in Crossbell City. Yeah, getting little previews of the characters we are gonna see throughout the run, or throughout this next chapter here. But before we do any of that, we have got a new request to exterminate some hand-standing skunks. And luckily, the bus to Armorica is back and available, so we're just gonna quickly head there. And before we go talk to the mayor, we're gonna quickly rest at the inn, because we're gonna want CP to exterminate these guys. Oh. Talk to the mayor, ask about what's going on, and he's given us a key to the old property, which is where we will be doing this job. So heading over to the fork, and we are right here where these hand-standing skunks have infested. And Jin, you want to discuss the strategy we'll be doing here?
Yeah, so we definitely want to get preemptive strike on these guys, because it does increase the odds of getting the team rush bonus here. And normally we would not have enough CP to clear these out that quickly, so we definitely need to rely on clearing one side with the team rush while clearing the other side with the S-craft. And Randy has one crab called Warfry, which does consume some HP for some CP gain, which is really convenient because there are, like, I think 5 skunk fights, and we only have 4 party members.
And I did not get team rush there, so we're gonna quickly re-enter
if
the
we
fight.
don't get it, we just escape and we try.
There we go.
I'm so confused. Those look like anteaters.
Maybe
Okay, the hand-standing anteaters. They do a funny little dance. It's unfortunate we have to exterminate them.
I'm more confused about why there were wolves on the roof of the hospital, but...
They climbed up on the boxes. There were some very convenient boxes they were able to climb up there, and...
Like they do, you know.
Yeah. And with that, we have exterminated the hand-standing anteaters. And we're gonna head back to Crossbell City, where we're gonna get a call. There was a special visitor at the Special Support Section headquarters, and that is Rishi here, one of the Arkan CL performers. She's gonna let us know that there has been a threat letter sent to them. She's like, it's like, I'm not sure if we should be worried about, but like maybe worth checking out. And we're gonna go to the entertainment district. And once again, we're gonna, oh no, I did not mean to enter there right away. We'll do the in-rest after. Okay, we're supposed to go, rest right before here. It's not a big deal. We're gonna get a little bit of info. But yeah, so there's a threat letter from a mysterious, like, assassin that has lived for hundreds of years from the neighboring country of Calvard. It seems kind of suspicious. We don't really know what's going on. So, the first people we're going to talk to, before we go there, we're actually going to rest at the hotel, which, as opposed to the restaurant, restores 200 CP. But the first people we're going to talk to is the Mafia, who we just busted their plans in Chapter 1. And, as expected, they're not the most they're not the most cooperative. So we don't really get too much info out of them. It's like, maybe the sender of... Oh, my bad. We're not supposed to know it's the mysterious assassin yet. I spoiled it for you all. We're only supposed to find out here, where we go talk to Mr. Broomwood, the one lawyer in all of Crossbell.
Can't keep up with spoilers when you're going this fast.
Yeah, so here, mysterious assassin from Calvard. Let's go ask the Mafia that's from Calvard. And they're a little bit more cooperative than the Crossbell Mafia. And so we get a little bit more information from them. Not really too much, though. And then Detective Dudley's gonna show up. He's gonna say, it's not, don't bother, you guys are just rookies. Lloyd's gonna let us know that as long as we're together, we can get over any barrier. So we're gonna keep going here. And we're gonna head back to... and report back to Rishia and let her know what we have found while wandering around town. Do a little preview of their show. And yeah, they're not too worried about it. It's like, maybe this is worth investigating. And we're gonna head back to the SSS. I think now is another good time for if there's any readings.
Well, I'd like to remind everybody that Power Up with Pride has partnered with the Yeti to bring you shirts based on various runs throughout the event. These awesome designs will only be around as long as the marathon is, so make sure you pick them up now. $5 from each shirt sale goes directly to the Trevor Project. Visit theyeti.com to check them all out. And I actually have looked at them myself, and there are at least 2 shirts that I'm going to be picking up. This is really cool Dr. Mario shirt. My dad loves playing Dr. Mario, so...
Yeah.
I'm really excited to pick that one up. Yeah, the shirts are really cute. Y'all should go take a look.
You know, Yeti makes very nice shirts.
There's like 5 or 6 designs. Heck, I'm just gonna look at it right now. Oh, they're so cute. And these Sonic shirts are amazing. Oh, there's a Kirby shirt. Oh, this little black maid shirt. Oh, they're all so cute. All right, I'm going to shut up about the shirts now. You guys go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, so now... yeah, so in order to investigate what is going on with this threat letter, we're here with Ellie's uncle, who owns the bank, the, like, one bank in all of, like, this half of the continent. And they're gonna let us use their secret hacker computer at the bottom level. And Tio's gonna work her magic and try to triangulate where this mysterious hacker is in Crossbell, because they seem to be up to something. We're gonna make our way back out. And we're actually gonna make our way to the section of the geofront that we went to earlier to do the level grinding. But this time we're gonna get in there legitimately. We actually do have to get that key and open up this door legitimately to, like, I believe to trigger this cutscene right here, because if we don't trigger this cutscene, we actually won't be able to progress through the story. And we are gonna once again get over the barrier to get through this grate. And that is gonna skip, like, just a whole dungeon of going all the way through here. But we still do have to fight the boss at the end here. which, if you've been paying attention, we are going to S-craft a bunch of times until the enemies go away. And I got good RNG here. Sometimes you need to use 4 S-crafts there if the enemies like move out of the way. But got lucky there and only had to use 3 to save a few extra seconds. And we get introduced to Yona here. He is the mysterious hacker that we were trying to find out who they were. Turns out him and Tio know each other, and they hate each other. He's a great character. And he's going to tell us to go to Stargazer Tower if we want to know more about this mysterious assassin. Before we go there, though, we're once again going to go rest up, because we are going to want some CP for the upcoming fights. And once again, going to the hotel, we want... I don't think we mentioned already, but when you use an S-craft, you need at least 100 CP to use an S-craft. But if you use this S-craft at 200 CP, which is the maximum CP you can have, it actually does a more powerful version.
It's like 50% more damage.
Just gonna zoom
and,
in.
Since we're also over leveled, we can defeat enemies on the field with the field attack by hitting them twice, like that.
Mm-hmm.
We
It can
gain
be
a little bit sepip, but not too much.
Mm-hmm. We also get introduced to Noelle here, and she's gonna join along with our party. She is playable. Unfortunately, she's not level 50, so we're not gonna use her. And we're gonna make our way up Stargazer Tower now, which is kind of like trying to avoid enemies in like small corridors this time. Oh. Which again, like, want to make sure we kind of like check where they are, or slow down as we approach them. And on our way up here, we are going to grab an EP2 quartz, and we're going to use that later. Again, with how little we're fighting enemies, like, the amount of sepith we get is very limited, and with how important, like, quartz is for powering up your characters, we kind of, like, take, like, whatever we can get. Because by the end of the game, enemies actually will catch up to us with how limited our equipment is. And now we've encountered the mysterious assassin Yin. Unfortunately for them, got lucky there with the crit. Fortunately,
oh, 2 S-crafts.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, being an assassin for hundreds of years is no match for being over-leveled. And we once again will just kind of S-craft until they go away. And they've suddenly disappeared. And so it's like, oh well, the Ark CL performance is today, there's nothing else we can do. We're just gonna kind of like stand by and hope nothing happens. At this point in the game, I've talked earlier about how I like kind of enjoy like parts where you're supposed to go around and talk to people because like turbo movement is like really involved. And that is this section 2. We have to talk to 3 NPCs here and inspect 3 doors to look at like 3 different sections of the stage, which I think is really cool. But you do that, and then after you do that, the game tells you do it again. And then after you do it that time, the game tells you to do it one last time. So we are actually like... Sorry, go.
Yeah, just a lot of checking through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once again, if anything like needs to be read, now is a pretty good time.
Yes, we have all kinds of things that we can talk about. I'm going to talk about the Trevor Project just a little bit more. They are the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ young people. Suicide is the 2nd leading cause of death among young people. Lesbian, gay, and bisexual youth are 5 times more likely to attempt suicide than their straight peers. Youth from highly rejecting families are 8 times more likely to attempt suicide than youth from accepting families. Nearly half of all trans people have made a suicide attempt, and that is part of why we are raising funds here for Trevor Project this weekend. There's such an amazing organization, really helps with suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs. So please do get those donations in if you are able.
And yeah, we're just gonna watch some cutscenes here. It turns out there actually was an assassination attempt, not by the mysterious assassin, but by someone else on the mayor of Crossbell. But luckily we have a very good police dog to help us out with that. And we just have a few more cutscenes as we get introduced to the Crossbell Anniversary Festival, which is like a multiple day long festival to celebrate Crossbell's anniversary.
And you got their sneak peek who actually was in. If you
Oh,
saw
yeah.
that Super Bowl.
We also get a sneak preview of Pom Pom Party, which you don't get to
Yeah.
play until the next game.
Yeah, Tia does obliterate Yona here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if anyone is wondering, because this game and its sequel, Ao no Kaseki, have never officially been released in English. But luckily, the Geofront team has made a fan translation for this, and made it very easy to. You can officially buy this game for PC, and very easily apply the patch to it. So, huge shout out to the Geofront team for allowing us to experience these games in English. But now we have a quest. It turns out during the Crossbell Anniversary Festival, Dr. Joachim has gone missing, and we don't exactly know where he's gone, but we know he likes fishing. So we're gonna go over to the East Street in Crossbell and check the fishing guild. There's no one at the fishing guild. So, because it turns out they're hosting an event over at the sandbank. So we're gonna go to the sandbank. And it turns out Professor Joachim knows the true appeal of RPGs and is just fishing right here, neglecting his job as a doctor and saving people's lives. And we're gonna try to challenge Joachim with the fish we caught, except we didn't catch a fish. So we're just gonna automatically lose that, but it doesn't matter, we're gonna progress through the game anyways. And
Yeah,
with
that's
that...
really... Sorry, go on.
Oh. No, sorry, go, like, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, the surprising thing is definitely that you can challenge them without even catching a fish to begin with, which really did surprise me when I found that out.
And now we have, turns out these two foreign, kind of like bracers who are kind of like good people mercenaries are getting into it with the two gang leaders from downtown, and we're gonna have a battle race with them. We kind of have to go around and hit a bunch of targets. Well, I didn't mean to pick that option, but it really doesn't make a difference. There are like certain options you can pick in this game, but besides a select few, most of them don't matter. There is for the ones that aren't mandatory to progress through the game, there is something being tracked called DP in this game, which stands for detective points. And if you get more detective points, you get like certain items when you like hand in quests. But we don't really use any of the rewards for that throughout the run. And right here, we're actually going to get Burning Rage. I think that's what it's called. It is a combo craft with Lloyd and Randy. And combo crafts, they cost 100 CP each and do very nice damage. And we will see that used in one fight later. And we're also going to do some shopping here. We're going to buy 15 ultimate mixes. Those are kind of going to carry us through the last dungeon of the game. I'm also going to go out of the way to buy coffee here. This isn't mandatory for the run, but definitely helps to make the final areas of the game a little bit more marathon safe.
Yeah, definitely.
And now the new quest we have to do is with all these people coming in for the Crossbell Anniversary Festival. Turns out there's someone sneaking in some counterfeit goods, and we are gonna head over to the border to do some border patrol and ask everyone what's going on, ask why they're coming in here, and maybe find out who's the one bringing in counterfeit goods. We know it's someone, we don't know it's who. We don't know who though. So we kind of just go talk to everyone.
It's definitely someone who you don't expect to be.
Yeah, this quest is actually like really fun. I also need to exchange some Sepith. I accidentally oh my god. I know we need to do 3 inrests before the final dungeon, and I've barely not enough Sepith after buying all that coffee earlier. But yeah, this quest, I think, the one thing we're talking about like major story points, but I think one of the big appeals of the game that we're not really focusing on is kind of just like the character interactions and like specific dialogue in the cutscenes. I think that's like one of the main draws of this game if you choose to check it out. And this quest is definitely like a really good example of that. It's very funny.
Granny.
Yeah, turns out it was the grandma trying to bring counterfeit goods. But with that out of the way, we're actually gonna get a call from Yona, and he's gonna let us know that there is like a secret like section underground that we can like get some information from. So we have a quick little dungeon to go through with only Lloyd and Tio here. And I think this dungeon is like... I feel like it's one of the hardest sections for movement in the game, just for how many rooms there are.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the harder ones. Since enemies are mostly near the loading zones, waiting for you already.
And also, like, we're trying to hold down turbo during the loading times because it does speed up loading times.
So yeah, I guess I'll talk a bit more about the appeal of these games. Like snowymoogle did mention that every NPC has some different dialogue. Every time you progress the story in these games, every NPC gets new dialogue. No matter which one is it, like even like an NPC without a name, they will have different dialogue every time you proceed with the story, and that's like the biggest appeal of these games.
And definitely just like, I don't know, you think like, you think fetch quests can be boring, but like, nah, you just need some good dialogue in there. It's like, yeah, going and talking to like NPCs is like just a lot of fun. And right there, we're actually going to pick up one piece of equipment, which we will use later. Try to avoid these two enemies here. And you see, I sometimes get stuck in the loading zones, pretty much just due to turbo. And right here at the end, we're going to get surprised by another giant bat. And, well, we're going to use a couple S-crafts. And there they go. Yeah, that's why we had to make sure we rested while we were doing the like counterfeit goods quest. So we have enough CP. And that dungeon can actually be scary if you get encounters, because there are enemies in this dungeon that will steal your CP. And most of the times I feel like I go through this dungeon, I'm like kind of just above 100. So it's like, okay, they attack you. You either like load an autosave, or need your character to do like a few turns of attacking to make up that CP. And after that, we got a whole bunch of information about the local mafia. And we learn about the Schwartz auction, which is their next big plan. We aren't gonna go there though. So I believe we're like roughly like, I want to say like 40-ish minutes into the run. And you may notice the estimate is like relatively low. So we're actually gonna go to the final dungeon right now. And so as we mentioned earlier, we have the get over the barrier trick to kind of clip through doors. And we have this quest right now where we're supposed to go save a couple tourists that went wandering into the ancient battlefield. And it turns out the ancient battlefield actually is where the final dungeon is. You're not intended to access the final dungeon at this point in the game, because we're only in Chapter 3, and normally you'd come back here in Chapter 4, but all the loading zones are still there, so we can kind of just head there right now, go through a couple walls, and we'll actually just be in the final dungeon. So we're gonna clip through this wall here. This wall is actually really big, so we actually have to do 2 clips. This actually does speed up in turbo quite a bit. We kind of just like try to walk through the door as much as we can until it loads in. But that actually speeds up when you're in turbo. If you're, I don't know the exact amount, but if you're not using field turbo in your run, the amount of like save reloads you have to do does increase. And there we go. We are now in the final dungeon of the game. And we're kind of going to do some like last minute collection on equipment again. So this is actually a point where we have been final level this entire time, but enemies are actually catching up to us now. I believe if you play this game casual, you'd be maybe like mid 40s, I want to say. And we are level 50, and levels definitely matter in trails, but enemies are definitely catching up. And we kind of need like all the equipment we can get, and also like the lack of equipment, even with what we do get, will like kind of balance out with the strength of enemies here.
Yeah, since we did enter the dungeon not the right time right now, we're also skipping like at least 2 fights that would be mandatory.
And right here we're gonna hit the other switch here. And we also do get to listen to one of my favorite final dungeon themes in the series. And we are gonna get over our last barrier here. So we have this door. Normally, I think there's one that like saves the least amount of time. Normally just kind of go around, hit a switch. But faster to just get over the barrier through it. And we are entering the Kool-Aid River room, where we're gonna grab a few mirror chests, or I guess money chests, mirror money, same thing in this game. We also do have to kill these enemies. If an enemy is too close to a chest, you actually can't open it. So that can be a little annoying when going for those. And we're gonna save some people all the way down here. I don't know how these people got here. We were just in the middle of the anniversary festival.
Yeah, that basically does re-enable cutscenes. That means we're actually proceeding the story now. And yeah,
that right there.
The only thing that we're missing is like 2 party members.
Oh yeah, right there with that fish. That was like prime example of like enemy tries to run away from you and then just runs into you. Yeah, this room right here, we kind of enter it from like different points and activate this water wheel from different points. And we're getting some pretty good equipment for this point in the game. And everything we can get. If you've played this game casual, you know like how important quartz is and having like a full quartz setup. Oh my god. Except I believe like Tio is the only character that's actually gonna get a full quartz setup. The other characters get 1 to 3 quartz each, which definitely will balance out the fact that they're a little bit over-leveled. Getting this last Sepith chest here. Every Sepith chest we get here really does matter. And we're kind of going to do our... If you want to explain the kind of like big menu here.
Yes, so here we're going to stock up on soul recovery items. At the same time, we'll unlock like slots here where we can equip quartzes. Now there are like 2 slot levels. Some quartzes can only be equipped on level 2s, so we do need some of those too. Also, unlocking more slots does increase our maximum AP, which allows us to cast more arts. And well, how should I say this? Like there are like skill trees, like elements. For example, like if you build, like right now we're trying to build 1 art that is like Thunder Cyclone, and for that we need like 15 wind and some other elements there, and each like quartz has like those elements on the text attached. So we're trying to get that combination right, at least on Theo, since we can only really build Theo at this point, and we don't really have that much quartz to build everyone else. Also, we're gonna grab some resistance equipment that will help us out for some fights.
Yeah, the next 2 fights we do, I can have some very annoying statuses, and we want to avoid that as much as possible.
Like, I think everyone gets the resistant equipment except Tio.
Yeah. Tio's other equipment is mainly to just boost her magic attack, because Tio is like our main DPS at this point in the game. And we're gonna see use of those ultimate mixes we bought right before we did the quest for... Oh, okay.
Oh dear. So lucky.
This should be fine.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Oh wait, we gotta wait for those guys to come over. Yeah, that's kind of like the one thing you don't want to happen here. And it happened.
Yeah, we're basically going for a gamble that the boss one use that one move on just Theo out of all 4 characters.
I'm gonna play safe here. Oh, okay, Lloyd does not have enough. Normally want to do 2 Burning Rages here.
Yeah, the combination crafts require both partners to have at least 100 CP, and compared to Ash crafts, they are really strong. But still, in the end, the arts are still king.
Yeah, this should be... Oh, okay, Lloyd missed. And that should finish him off.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, that was a rough fight, but luckily made it through it. If you're like trying to like PB grind, CP management here is like something that can be like really tough to do. Because you definitely like need a lot of use of like crafts in these like kind of like starting with that fight, kind of like the gauntlet of like the last 4 fights of this run. But yeah, CP management can be like really important here. But all those coffees I bought earlier helps get that a bit at the cost of just a little bit of time.
And we're no longer over-leveled. Enemies actually aggro now.
Oh yeah, we're back to enemies trying to chase after us, and yeah, I'm mostly just gonna stun them. If you kind of like boop them in the face, they'll get stunned for like a brief second, giving enough time to run away. But oh, okay, yeah, we are done with random encounters now. And I'm gonna equip new sets of equipment for this upcoming fight, and also change our formation. This next fight kind of just depends on what is the first attack this guy does, and how many of our characters, or if Tio gets fainted by it. Okay, this fight is fun. Jim, if you want to explain why this fight ends up being so easy?
Well, yeah, like you mentioned, if on the first turn the boss doesn't like faint at least Theo, it will be fine. But if it does, it can take quite some time to recover. And we're doing basically the same thing we've been doing like in the grind fights earlier in the run, like at the start of it. So we just apply speed down and we keep delaying. This is one of the few bosses where you can actually delay. That's why this fight isn't really too difficult once you get it going. And yeah, I probably will explain as well the roles for each character. So Tio is like our main DPS character. Ellie will usually always apply good buff on Tio and do AP recovery. Lloyd is there just to tank hits, and Randy usually just will Warcry himself to recover CP and spam Ash traps.
Okay, so yeah, CP is not looking great, so I'm definitely gonna... Everyone's gonna drink up some coffee to help out with the upcoming fights.
We don't suggest drinking that much coffee. It's really unhealthy.
I'm gonna overdo it a little bit just for like marathon safety, but like this... Yeah, we should be fine at this point. Oh, and one last menu for the run. So is this all the straw hats we bought at the very beginning in Armorica, or during chapter 1. Oh, and I need one last. We need Randy here. Yeah, all those straw hats, they increase our speed a little bit, and we're finally seeing use of all 5 of them right now. Lloyd and Ellie are both wearing 2 hats each. And also we saw Joachim. He's kind of salty that we disturbed his fishing trip earlier. So he decided to become a cult leader.
It's our fault.
Yeah. That was a nice crit. I've been getting good crits this run.
So we finally see Lloyd use Burning Heart, and Burning Heart is one of the best, if not the best, crafts in the game. Self-buff, strength, defense, speed, immune to all status effects. So he's basically the ultimate tank, and he can refresh that buff when he's down to 1 turn. Because if the buff does run out, he will faint himself at the end. And faint in this game is basically the same as stun, it's just different kind of wording. Sometimes it's difficult to keep a track when you play different games with different like names.
Okay, we're hoping he doesn't. Okay, good. He didn't manage there. We can go invisible here. I'm not actually healing Randy. I meant to heal Randy last turn, but he accidentally went on to Lloyd. Okay. You're gonna get him.
Finish him off.
I'll play it safe just to go into. He's gonna vanish here. I'll play it safe just so we can go into the next fight, because like our HP, EP, all that stuff in this fight is what we were going into the next fight with.
All right.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, unfortunate time loss there, but we are at least going into this next fight very well. And this next fight, kinda like the Garcia fight, we are really hoping one of these, one of like the ads on the side, its attack can one-shot you, and we're just hoping that doesn't happen to either like Randy, Tio, or Ellie.
Yeah, same thing again. Burning Heart with Lloyd, Tio with the Thunder Cyclones, Ellie with the Spark, and Randy does his thing. Oh dear. Okay, that's not good.
This is like, this is really bad. That's like the one thing we don't want, because, we do want EP or CP for her later. We'll see what happens. This makes it really bad, but it should be alright. Yeah, get rid of that. And then, oh, okay, he's just gonna use Earth Bullet. Earth Bullet is nice to see. His, another attack he can do has potential to, like, faint your party members so they can't move for multiple turns. That can be really annoying. That is, okay. Well, the auto attack's helping me out. I didn't mean to do that, but hey, that works out, actually.
It definitely does.
And, okay, yeah, Wicked Blade here. This is why we moved Randy up until the front. This attack, for whatever reason, will prioritize groups. And that's why I put Randy in the front, so that what's it called? Wicked Blade does not target Ellie and Tio. So that'd be very bad. Oh.
Yeah, that surprisingly was a lot of damage.
Okay, this is going fine. I'm kind of just keeping the open mixes on Tio. One thing that's unfortunate, Chin mentioned earlier, like how arts are kind of like a two-turn thing. Each turn of using an art, kind of like the initial using of it, and then actually using the spell, if that makes sense. Or like initially casting and then actually using it, those are both separate turns.
Yeah. That's definitely the downside, like, that's fixed in the future games, where if you're casting, the buff won't go away on the initial turn cast, but in this one, let's say you have a 3-turn buff, and you do a cast, you'll just really get the buff on cast, unless you apply the buff while you're already casting.
I'm moving Lloyd back. I'm hoping there's another attack like Wicked Blade that'll prioritize groups, and I'm hoping it just targets Lloyd and Randy here. Okay, there we go. I think it's them. Okay. Oh, okay. Randy unfortunately took a very big hit like with that.
This is so weird seeing the fight go like that for some reason.
Yeah, it's a very tough move to deal with. I'll revive Randy now.
For some reason, snowymoogle gets like different final fight like cycles. I've done this fight like a lot of times, and usually it's quite consistent. But for snowymoogle, it's like the worst like possible fights ever.
Yeah, like probably some AI bug. This fight can be a little weird.
Yeah, we haven't figured out how the AI actually works for this fight.
Funny enough, we know a lot about what doesn't trigger those attacks, but we don't know what does trigger it.
Yeah.
We have a whole list of what can trigger attacks in this game, yeah, both Wicked Blade and that move. Oh, this should be it. Actually, how are we doing on schedule right now?
I mean, I think we're doing fine.
Okay, we're gonna watch the S credits. So these are the super powerful moves we've been using throughout the game. It costs like a minute to watch all of them here, but I'm assuming we're doing pretty well on time. So we're gonna watch it. These are the big flashy attacks that have been carrying us pretty much all the way, like, after the level grind, and heck, even before that as well. And they're really cool. It's a shame we gotta skip all of them throughout the run. And yeah, the kind of last phase of after doing like human Jokim and then demon Jokim, we just have this last phase here where they're like, okay, here's 200 CP on everyone, do what you want, and we just kind of spam all 4 of these right here. And then we got the best one here, Rising Sun.
Loy gets to finish off the boss.
Yeah.
Wait, he actually lives it out. You forget it. He can do that. Loy is one stronger boy.
Yeah. Knocks him all the way up here. And there we go. Now we've actually defeated the final boss. And now we actually, if you remember at the very start of the run, we went to the airport to trigger a cutscene. This is when we need it. That you'll see, it'll flash by for like 1 second. We'll see everyone in the airport. We'll also see all these characters. I don't know who this green-haired girl is. Maybe she's important, I don't know. But here we go. This right here, that 1 second cutscene, if you don't watch the airport cutscene before that, you will soft lock. So we literally have to beat the run, and sorry, that is time right there.
GG's.
Okay, that went very well. I'm assuming, I don't have a timer on me, but I'm assuming that was like pretty decently underestimate.
Yes, in fact, you have a 104.26.
Okay, yeah, I'm very happy with that for Marathon. The early game and the end game can definitely go pretty bad, which is why the estimate is so high, but I'm very happy with that.
Oh, I guess we're now a bit too ahead.
Yeah, we are.
Did you have any shout-outs that you wanted to do?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to get into this game or any other Trails game, we do have a like Trails speedrunning Discord. If you want to check it out, it is linked on this game's speedrun.com page, and I believe every other Trails speedruns page for like Sky, Cold Steel, all those games as well. So if you want to check it out, get to know the community, it's like a lot of like super cool people. I was like, I gotta shout out Shin as well. Like, we're like kind of the only 2 runners of the game right now. And
somehow I picked up the game perfectly, like when you were learning as well.
Yeah, I coincidentally picked it up as Shin like really optimized a lot of this run. It's been like really great, just like talking to each other about the game and like running the game. So it's like really cool. And again, like if anyone else wants to join the community, it's a lot of cool people that are super friendly. If you want to check it out. Also, huge shout out to the Power Up with Pride crew for putting on this amazing event for such a good cause and allowing us to be here showing off Zero no Kiseki. Guys, definitely like a really cool run from probably not too well known series, or even within the series, this game is not too well known. So really happy to be able to show it off here.
Thank you so much, Snowy Moogle, for that lovely run. You said it's Zero no Kiseki?
Oh,
right,
Legend
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
On speedrun.com, the kind of like unofficial English time for this game is Trails from Zero, as you can literally see on screen right now. But the kind of the speedrun.com page will have it listed as Zero no Kiseki.
All right, so Zero no Kiseki or Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero, whichever language you prefer. Thank you so much for that lovely speed run, and everybody don't go anywhere. We have a run of Saturn Bomberman normal game 80% coming up from Hey It's Perk.